So it looks like it's Ken Barbie and JT, a member of the City Girls, had got into it on Twitter. And shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for collecting all of this information, because when I went back to Twitter, it's Ken Barbie had me blocked. And I'm not entirely sure why, because all we do is cover the news. So the thread begins when It's Ken Barbie says, somebody better tell JT Ice Spice already brought the princess collar. JT replied back and says, non-black people once again using terms to insinuate that black women are dogs. Now Ken Barbie swiftly replied back and says, but I'm definitely 100% black, not half, not a quarter, but full. Now the question of It's Ken Barbie's ethnicity has come into question a ton of times, which I'm not entirely sure why, because black people come in all shades. So the fact that their ethnicity always comes into question is bewildering to me, but I digress. JT follows up and tells Ken Barbie that she's in New York to come see her. Ken replies back and says, word, I don't fight women though. Who you want me to fight, Leslie? And if you guys didn't know, Leslie is a pseudonym or a surname that Lil Uzi Vert goes by and had posted about it when they were in Thailand. JT then replies back, yep, come on, where you at? Now, Ken had replied and said, where was this energy when that girl had played in your face? And I'm not entirely sure about which girl that Ken was referring to. Now, JT replied back and says, y'all think Ken got a sister? I'm ready to take my shoes off. Ken replied back and says, baby, you don't want that. Trust me. And JT replies, says, yes, I do. Trust me. Where you at? I'm up. I DM'd you. Check it. Reply right now. Now, Ken came back and then actually showed some of their private DMs that they had on Twitter. Ken stated, you're definitely talking tough on the timeline for show, because weren't you just in my DMs talking about we don't know each other and leave it at that? And you can just pause to read it, but here's what JT had said in the DMs. JT had came back with her own DMs and says, no, what happened was you were talking about BS that had nothing to do with right now. Stop playing with me for real. And exposed her own DMs. And again, go ahead and pause to read them. Now, Ken comes back and replies in a nutshell, because you can pause to read it, but basically says that her anger is directed toward the wrong person, and admitting that Leslie or Lil Uzi Vert had side pieces, as well as stating to the side pieces that he didn't want to have a baby with JT. Again, that's all alleged. I don't even know that. Now, they ended the thread where JT says, no, I'm not aware of that. And don't put words in my mouth. I was definitely being sarcastic, because what the F that got to do with anything? And then Ken replied back and says, girl, please. Now, if the story wasn't messy enough, check this video out. Now, while all of that was taking place, Saucy Santana was at the club and drinking a little bit of, I don't really know what that is. I think that's Don Julio. And people were in the comments, and you can actually look at the comments, and people are like, hey, get on Twitter, get on Twitter. And basically saying that Saucy did read the comments, but he was ignoring them. Child, the last 24 hours been a mess.